And I would urge this House then to consider that ruling in respect or together with the ruling of the Supreme Court or the guidance of the Supreme Court as to what should be done with rulings of that nature. And if I may state during my response to the questions from the senators, if this House stops this impeachment proceeding in respect of a court order like the one that has been issued, then as an advocate who has practiced law for not an insignificant time, I can say without any fear of contradiction that this is the last impeachment that this House will do, because the court orders will delay and delay and delay. There is a good reason why the Supreme Court took the position it did in Martin Nyaga Wambora, and there is no reason to depart from that position. There was a question as to whether the Hansard is full or abridged. Do we have an audio recording? Again, my colleague, Mr. Mawira, will respond to that. Senator Halwale, no response to the allegation that the documents were cooked. That is an issue of fact. And because it is an issue of fact, it cannot fall from the mouth of the advocate that the documents were cooked. That can only come from a witness. And from our corner, it can only come from our witnesses. That is their position. We have an answer. And it is in the response, or it is in the documents that are brought in support of the motion. It is not an issue, because it is an issue of fact, it is not an issue that can be brought forward and tried as a preliminary issue, as the legal team for the governor seeks to invite this House to do. That is an issue, and it is a contested issue in the motion, and I beseech this House to allow the motion to get to the point where those who are competent and capable to testify to those contested facts are able to do it. In respect of the order, or in respect of the finding, Senator Halwale, again at page 23 of volume 4, again, I will repeat my answer to that question. This is an order, the species of which was envisaged by the Supreme Court in Martin Nyaga Wambora. Compliance does not need to take place. It doesn't need to take place immediately. And the Supreme Court then is clear that such an order, when issued by the High Court, should not and cannot get in the way of impeachment proceedings. The High Court's jurisdiction only arises once the impeachment proceeding is complete. When I was on my feet earlier on, I made the statement that what the Supreme Court envisages is an instance where even where the impeaching House is making a mistake, allow them to complete the mistake, because that is how institutions grow. And that is why the Supreme Court held as they did. Again, I will emphasize that these are time-bound proceedings, and if we then expose ourselves to the judicial process, we will never finish. Senator Mudama, clarify if there were sittings on the 18th and the 25th of June 2025. Yes, and that is the only way that the motion could have gotten to the Senate. My colleague will demonstrate by reference to the Hansard in the evidence in support of the motion when and how those proceedings took place. Would it be in order for the Senate to proceed against a court order? Mr. Speaker, I will ask to perhaps add a word in the question that was put to us by Senator Mudama. Will it be in order for the Senate to proceed against an unlawful court order? We have gone to great lengths to demonstrate that that order is unlawful, it is made without jurisdiction, and it is made in circumstances where it is clear, and there are binding pronouncements both of the Court of Appeal and of the Supreme Court that that court disregarded, that that court's jurisdiction only arises upon the completion of the impeachment proceedings. Those proceedings have not been completed, and that order is therefore to be ignored. I cede the rest of my time to my learned colleague so that he can cover the other important issues.
Honorable Speaker, my name is Morero Boniface Mavera. On the first question by the majority leader, on who is the clerk of the assembly at the moment, from the Salad Boru's affidavits, the clerk of the assembly, he has sworn an affidavit in support of the governor, in support of the governor's case. From his own affidavit, he confirms that he was sent on leave on 16th of June. He was sent on compulsory leave on 16th of June of 2025. The court suspended the decision, sending him on compulsory leave on 1st of July 2025. The motion that is before you was tabled on 18th of June when the clerk was on leave. It was debated on 26th of June of 2025, still again when the clerk was on leave. Therefore, the clerk cannot be a witness of fact as to what transpired in the assembly on these 2 days when the motion was tabled and when it was debated, because he was on compulsory leave. He only resumed after the court, the Employment and Labor Relations Court, granted him interim relief on 1st of July. On the question by Senator Karungo, the video and audio Hansard has not been filed. It was not anticipated by the Assembly at the time of filing his documents that the governor would be challenging whether there was a sitting. But I have just been informed by the Speaker that he has an audio recording, the Assembly has an audio recording of the Hansard. So if it is required, it shall be filed with the Office of the Clerk. I have checked the rules, Honorable Speaker. The rules do not provide for filing of additional documents after documents have been exchanged between parties on Friday, when we came and served the Office of the Clerk with the documents for the respective parties. So if it is required, the audio recording of the Hansard, it shall be provided. On the question by Senator Muma on whether there is a social media site for the Assembly, there is no social media site for the Assembly proceedings. So there is no record, either on YouTube or in the Assembly sittings that day. For other previous proceedings, if there is members of the press who are allowed in the chamber, there are proceedings for those days. But on this specific day, there was violence. And as I was saying, Honorable Speaker, this is a matter of evidence. If you go to our volume 1, you will find an OB report on page 42. This OB is on the breaking in on the county assembly on the date of the debate. And with your leave, Honorable Speaker, I would request that our video number 6 be played. That video will demonstrate that the entire Hansard of the county assembly was vandalized on the 26th of June 2025, when these proceedings, when the debate on the motion was ongoing, and therefore the county assembly, Honorable Speaker, all the records, including the Hansard of 18th, were stolen. What is more curious, Honorable Speaker, from our video number 9 in our folder, is that the only office in the entire county assembly that was spared is the office of the clerk. And this clerk is a witness for the governor. On the question by Senator Nyamu, whether the governor was invited, it is indeed true. On our volume number 5, page 5 of that volume, that is a letter of invitation sent to the governor. It was served, and an affidavit of service is filed in that regard. On the last question by Senator Umtata, whether on the effect of that court order, a court order that is given by a court lacking in jurisdiction, as my senior said, is a nullity in law. It is of no legal consequence, to borrow the words by the governor's lawyers. On the question by Senator Mundigi, indeed public participation was undertaken. We have 2 volumes, volume 4A and volume 4B on that question. Honorable Speaker, I would request your indulgence for time to have those 2 videos played. They're crucial to this question of whether indeed the assembly sat, because they demonstrate the violence and the vandalism that took place in the assembly on the 26th of June. In that regard, I would request for maybe additional time to play those 2 videos.
Counsel for the Governor, there is a request that has been put forth by the Counsel for the County Assembly to play a certain video in proof that indeed the sittings took place.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I seek your indulgence to understand the issue? Do I understand the request by the County Assembly Council to be that a video can be played here which will show that the sitting took place? Because if that is the request they are making, then they can play it. We see where that sitting took place. We'll also be glad to see it ourselves.
Now, Counsel for the County Assembly, it is your case. The question that is before you, there has been an assertion from the team of the governor that no sittings took place. Now, you've decided to play a video in response to that allegation. Is that video going to show us a sitting taking place? Or is it a video showing us a sitting never took place because of certain reasons?
Is you play the video, it is material like any other, and then make a position. We are not laying any places.
Honorable Speaker, that video, as I've already stated, due to the unique circumstances, the proceedings of that day, the vandalism, the violence, the mayhem, in the Assembly precincts on 26th of June, the video we're about to play is not a video of the sitting of the Assembly. It is a video showing the entire destruction of the Hansard office in the County Assembly.
No, honorable senators. Honorable senators, again, I'm going to say it. It is your case. If that video proves that the conditions were such that a sitting could not take place, how is it going to aid your case? But it is your case. You can proceed. Let the council play his... Yes, Senator Omtata, what is your clarification?
I thought we were handling a preliminary objection. We cannot begin examining evidence. Otherwise,
Senator Omtata.
Yes, Your Honor.
I hear you. Just take your seat. The clarifications that have been sought here is for the County Assembly to indeed confirm that a sitting took place. I think several senators rose to seek that clarification. In response to that, the County Assembly has requested to play a video.
I'm just to say, it's a question of evidence that is contested, and that's all we need to know. If it's a question of evidence contested, then we shall deal with the evidence when we get there. If we begin looking at the evidence now, I would rather we just deal with the matters of law, which are matters of preliminary objection, and they had argued it well, and they had said it's a matter of evidence. And if that's the case, that's a matter of evidence, then what's the fate of the PO?
Very well, Honorable Senator. You will make that decision when you debate and vote on the motion. Just hear what the County Assembly wants to show you. It is upon you, using that same line of argument, to either take it or leave it when the time for making decision arrives. You may proceed.
Honorable Speaker, the video we are about to play, and I'm responding to the concern that was raised, is not to demonstrate that the circumstances were that it was not possible to hold a sitting. Our position is that there was a sitting of the Assembly. However, due to the violence and the disruption, as even and I don't want to go to affidavits, Honorable Speaker, because that's a matter of evidence, as Senator Mtata submits. The circumstances after that sitting were that the Hansard report was vandalized, and that is why, Honorable Speaker, as we came to Senate and as we exchanged documents, the answer that was filed was not a recording of the actual sitting of the Assembly. The answer was vandalized after the sitting. So, Honorable Speaker, with your leave, if the Assembly can be allowed to, that audio recording...
Honorable Senators, kindly view the recording and make a decision at a time when you're supposed to make your decision. Proceed.
Jigi in the boardroom, hakuna kitu ndani boardroom. Boardroom imesafirishwa. And also video number 9 that shows the office of the clerk. The clerk, iko sawa. Speaker, is that this violence and mayhem at the Assembly was perpetrated by the governor. We will be calling witnesses and lead them in evidence in support of that submission. And, Honorable Speaker, it cannot be that the governor perpetrates such violence and ultimately is the beneficiary of his own violence. He cannot benefit from his own mischief, Honorable Speaker. That is the entire point we are making, and that was the importance of showing those two videos. And finally, Honorable Speaker, can I get directions on whether that the audio Hansard can be filed with the office of the clerk? The Speaker just availed it to me.
Absolutely. It will be considered when making the decision on this preliminary matter.
I'm most obliged, Honorable Speaker.
Counsel for the Governor, you may proceed. You have 15 minutes to make your rebuttal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I have a sight of my time? I will take 7 minutes, and my learned colleague, Mr. Theuri, will take 8 minutes. For the record, my name is Elisha Ongoya. Allow me to start with the question raised by the leader of majority of this House on who is the clerk of the County Assembly of Isiolo. In answer to that question, Mr. Nyamodi answered, what happened to the clerk? Instead of giving a simple and straightforward answer, who is the clerk? The simple and straightforward answer is to be found in the County Assembly's own documents, Volume 5. Deponents show that the County Assembly did not sit on 18th of June 2025, when this motion is said to have been introduced in the House, and on 26th of June 2025, when this motion is purported to have been approved. Number 1 is the affidavit of Salad Boru Guracha, the clerk. Senators, you will know the role of the clerk in the business of the House, and is a person likely to know whether the House sat or not in 2 respects. Number 1, when he is physically present, and number 2, as the custodian of the official records of the House. He says by reference to both records, either by physical presence or by reference to records of the House, where he's the sole custodian. The House didn't sit. Number 2 is Abdinur Dima Jilo, the MCA for Kina Ward, a member of the County Assembly. By virtue of being a member of the County Assembly, he's a person who can know when the Assembly has sat or not. And number 3, the affidavit of Diba Abdirashid Ali, the leader of majority in the County Assembly of Isiolo. That is a member of the House Business Committee who is likely to know, number 1, whether this business was ever scheduled for that day or for those days for this house, and whether the house in fact sat and transacted that business. Each of these crucial witnesses bring before you evidence that the house did not sit on 18th of June 2025 when he also houses the county governor, so it's the county government premises in Isiolo. He also confirms that there was no business transacted in the house on that day because of the circumstances to which he deponds to in his affidavit. The question raised by Senator Mungatana on whether there has been an attempt to appeal that decision and whether the decision still holds. Now, this is also another very simple and straightforward question because an appeal is a particular act. And I expect the senior counsel, Mr. Nyamodi, to respond more directly to this question. I had him to answer what is the effect of this decision. Senator Mungatana, the simple and straightforward answer to this question is that not even a notice of appeal, forget about the appeal itself, has been lodged in respect of this decision. Not even a notice of appeal. So, not only has the county assembly not appealed this decision, they have not even shown an intention to appeal, which is normally signaled by a notice of appeal. To the question raised by Senator Cherargei, my answer is as follows. This was not a conservatory order. This house has historically had issued the conservatory orders granted ex parte. The order we have here is an order granted after hearing both parties. In fact, when you look at the record of the ruling of the court narrates the order of events, the assembly lawyers were even given time to go to their clients and take instruction of this motion. Senator Sigei, our answer is as follows. Of this motion, Senator Sigei, our answer is as follows. The deficiency of this motion is on multiple grounds, broadly two. One, there is an order of court declaring it null and void. And when it's declared null and void, it is not a valid motion. Number two, it is a piece of paper, as I told you earlier. It is a piece of paper because even for this House, this distinguished Senate, for a motion to be said to be a motion, it must go through the procedures known to the Constitution and the standing orders, be voted upon, and be a resultant motion. It cannot be proper, even for this House, for the Speaker and a few members to sit somewhere outside this House, craft material that look like Hansard, and say this is a motion. So it becomes invalid. And the video that has just been played and the submission of counsel prior to playing that video confirms this more than ever before. Counsel says that the Hansard was completely vandalized and therefore they could not produce a Hansard, which begs the question, the material they have presented before you purporting to be Hansards, where did they get them from? That is not a legitimate origin of a valid motion of a House to go against an order of court. Court orders generally involve two disputants, whether it is in a public interest matter like this, a matrimonial case, whatever case it involves underpinning this, whatever has been brought before you. Allow me, in the interest of time, to then invite my learned colleague, Mr. Eric Teuri, to continue with the responses to the various questions. And thank you for your audience.
Honorable Speaker, I would take maybe a minute or two in view of the very substantive responses that have come from my colleague, Mr. Ongoya. I think the only question I have, Senator Karungo, at the time when the governor was invited, he was in his office, and at 9 a.m. or at no time was there a sitting, and so there was no way that the governor could attend any sitting because none was held. There was a question that was posed by Senator Osotsi with regards to Article 159 of the Constitution, and my answer to you is that the question we are raising is not one of technicalities. It goes to the root of the dispute that is before the Senate. There must be a resolution, and in the absence of a resolution, that the question with regards to the sitting, is one that is extremely critical, and our position still remains that there was no valid sitting of the 18th or the 26th, and that is abundantly clear when you listen to the responses that are coming from the Assembly. You do not know on which side of the mouth they are speaking from. In one instance, the Hansard was destroyed. In another instance, the Hansard is a true record of the reflection of the proceedings that were held in the House. And so that question is the question that we have submitted on, and we urge this Honorable Senate to find that there are no proceedings known in law, and so therefore there cannot be a resolution that has been presented to this Honorable Senate to deliberate on. I rest.
If I may, Honorable Speaker, with your leave, Honorable Speaker, I request to clarify something that Ongoya Council has misquoted me with respect to the audio.
If you go that route, we'll never come to the end of this matter.
It's just one clarification.
You may proceed.
Honorable Speaker, what I said was stolen is the video Hansard of 26th.
Now, pursuant to Standing Order 38, as read together with Standing Order number 1, for the convenience of the Senate, I hereby suspend the sitting for 30 minutes to allow for the preparation and circulation of a supplementary order paper that will enable the Senate to make a fair and just determination on the issues that have been raised. You may rise.
Well, that is the directive by the Speaker, a suspension of 30 minutes to allow for the circulation of supplementary order paper. This suspension of the House for 30 minutes, the House will, after 30 minutes, resume these sittings where senators will be voting whether to continue with the hearing of the impeachment matter before the House, or the other option is whether they'll be agreeing with the Council for the Governor that indeed the preliminary objections raised before the Senate this afternoon and in the morning do hold water. And in the event that the senators vote to agree with the Council for the Governor, the matter ends there. But in the event that they do not agree with that appeal by the Defense Council, then the House proceeds to
investment opportunities globally while protecting your wealth and legacy.
Standard Chartered's unique global network and deep local insights give you unparalleled expertise
Anywhere, right now.
Now's your time for wealth. Join Priority Banking today.
With Ajab all-purpose flour, making perfect chapatis has never been this easy. The dough is easy to knead, rolls effortlessly, saving you time without compromising on taste. Soft, golden, and full of flavor. Every chapati turns out just right. Enjoy. Ajab all-purpose flour. Easy to knead, quick to prepare, and great taste in every bite. Try it today.
O noivo está chegando, ouço os passos no chão. a trombeta ressoando, batendo no coração. A noiva se prepara, vestida de santidade. Jesus vem em glória, vem com majestade. O noivo está chegando, ouço os passos no chão. A trombeta ressoando, batendo no coração. A noiva se prepara, vestida de santidade. No horizonte brilha um sinal, estrelas caem, o tempo se faz real, o céu se abre, a trombeta soa, as nações tremem, os justos cantam, a glória do Senhor jamais se espanta. É a hora do Rei, a volta tão sonhada. Ele vem com poder, com a face iluminada. O véu se rasga, a morte é vencida. Jesus vem buscar a sua vida. Os que esperaram a coroa terão, vestidos de branco, no céu vão morar. A noite finda, a luz vai reinar. Amam, o rei está pra chegar. É tempo de paz. A hora do Rei, a volta tão sonhada. Ele vem com poder, com a face iluminada. O véu se rasga, a morte é vencida. Jesus vem buscar a sua vida. É a hora do Rei, a volta tão sonhada. Ele vem com poder, com a face iluminada. O véu se rasga, a morte é vencida. Jesus vem buscar a sua vida. Vem, Senhor Jesus, vem nos salvar, eterno Rei, para sempre reinar. Quem crê não teme, está firme na fé, pois a promessa promessa é clara, Jesus é quem é, a nossa esperança, o nosso pastor, que vem nos buscar com todo o seu amor. O tempo se acaba, a porta vai fechar, mas quem espera fiel não vai se perder. O Rei dos Reis está pra chegar, e a sua glória vai nos envolver. Vem, Senhor Jesus, vem nos buscar. Com glória e poder, o céu vai se abrir. Vem, Senhor Jesus, vem nos salvar. Eterno Rei, para sempre reinar. Vem, Senhor. Nas nuvens ele vem, ó que dia glorioso. O Rei dos Reis retorna, o Cordeiro poderoso. Toda a terra estremece, o céu se abre em luz, e a noiva vestida de branco já reluz. Ouça o clamor dos anjos, a voz que anuncia. É o fim da espera, chega a alegria. Maranata ele vem, prepare seu coração. A trombeta vai soar, é hora da redenção. Maranata ele vem, não fique na escuridão. Jesus vem pra reinar, dando vida e salvação. Olhai para o céu, o tempo está findando. Os justos serão levados, um duto se transformando. Quem crê não se perderá, estará em festa no céu, pois Jesus é a esperança, o Emanuel. Ele vem como ladrão, na noite vai chegar, mas para os que vigiam é dia.